Hello there and welcome back. You might know that this channel is all about organizing, decluttering, and minimalist tips in general to simplify your life and your home. I do have a separate channel for meal planning, meal prepping, and grocery hauls. You can find that link below if that's something you're interested in following along with. But today we are going to focus on decluttering. You might know I'm a massive fan of the quarterly declutter. I've linked them up here and down below if you want to follow along with that. Most of us know though that it can be really hard to tackle a huge overwhelming area. So for the next 30 days, I'm going to take you along for a mini declutter of 30 little micro areas in my home. I have no idea how much I'm going to be able to get rid of, but I bet you it will still be more than I thought it would be. Because when you have a big house like I do now, there are always little nooks and crannies where things go missing or where things hide and you don't realize you have them. So if you are keen to declutter your home, feel free to follow along, comment down below which areas you'll be tackling, and let's dive in with day one. So on day one, I decided to pretty much turn around from the desk where I do these voiceovers and look at my office, I guess kind of home office tech stuff. It's not too bad in here. I do have like a bit of a mix of things in here, including some of my filming gear as well. I did organize this whole wardrobe not long ago. I will link the video down below as well as in a card above for you if you want to check that out. So it's not too bad, but the interesting thing is I bet there are still things in here that I can get rid of. So just kind of going through quickly and organizing some of the things. This here is a filming light that I used to use very early on, but it's really clunky and the battery doesn't last very long. It's a bit annoying, so I'm gonna donate that one. The wedding card, I'll talk about that a little bit later, but I'm just kind of having a flick through here to see which of these items I actually do want to keep. In this white box here, I've just got a bunch of like cords and things, some stuff, you know, for my earbuds, and trying to work out what the heck some of these cables are for. So I'm just going through here. I don't know if you have a similar thing in your house. We have kind of one big cable box in my husband's office. So some of these things I know what they are for, but some I don't really. So most of these though I do want to keep. And that spare USB mouse as well and some paperwork. So we're going to have a look through here because some of this I'm pretty sure we can get rid of. So this one's a little bit hard for me. This is like sentimental items. I have very few because I have traveled and moved countries so many times that I've gotten rid of a lot of things, and most often I'll take a photo of something. But I have held on to these physical items since I moved to Australia, so probably 13, 14 years ago. And it's really hard, right? Because I showed you before, this here is, we got married last year. We just celebrated our first anniversary. And in this, we have like some cards and things like that. So I'm going to do a special organization project with sentimental items and wedding stuff. And I'll share that on the channel when I do that because I think it's a really fun idea and I haven't really seen it done before elsewhere. So let me know in the comments if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But sentimental items, this is really hard because there's a mix of a newspaper clipping of that my grandmother cut out, and we actually found it after she passed away that she'd kept it for all those years. It's about me and the pony club I was in at the time. I've got some beautiful cards here from, actually a lot of these are from my husband. And I feel bad getting rid of them because I love him and I love the messages he's written for me. So I think I'm going to keep this and I'm going to do a combination project of like loving words and things like that. So I'm going to keep these two together. I might even keep them in this one here because they are related to a particular project. Then I have like random things, like this is just a postcard. It has no sentimental value to me. So as much as I love messages like this, I used to have it in a frame. I just don't anymore. So I think I'm going to donate this one to someone who needs a bit of girl power in their life. This is the travel journal that I kept the year I was traveling around Australia when I first arrived here in 2010. And it's really tricky. I guess what I could do is scan this. Let me know in the comments below what you do with stuff like this. But what I could do, because it's not a very long, you know, and I've got, you know, not that much text on each page. So I could possibly just scan each of these pages and keep them in a PDF or in an album somewhere. I have been holding on to this though, and I don't know why this particular one is hard to get rid of. So I reckon I'm gonna put it in my action pile, and that along with a newspaper clipping I'm gonna scan, and then I'm gonna say goodbye to the notebook itself. Same thing here. Some personal photos. This is me when I was very little. Actually not very little, I'm probably 4 or 5 years old there. Some photos with my mum and dad, my brothers, my dad's beautiful doggos. Sadly, they've both passed away now. I do actually have a fair few of these photos scanned, but what I might do just to be sure is that I'll scan them. I'll put them in my little scanning pile here. This one here looks like a Christmas card, so I'm going to put this with Christmas things. And this one here is a birthday card that my grandmother sent to me before she passed away. I love it. I mean, how cute is it? It's got a beautiful message inside. So again, I think I'm going to put this with my scanning things. I'm going to scan it and then say a loving goodbye to it. Yeah, okay. I think we're moving on. Surely I am not the only one to keep sentimental items in odd places, and because of the many times I've moved and traveled, I guess it's not strange that my pile is pretty small, but it still does pile up for all of us. Okay, so this tub here is, I guess, my like random office, not quite junk drawer, but like where I have things that need to kind of be contained. And you would have seen my organization video of this space behind there a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, there's a couple of things that don't really live here. This is a patch that we got for our travel backpack that we had our honeymoon in New Zealand last year. So this actually needs to go to a different part of my house to get sewn onto said backpack. I've got some lens cleaner for glasses, which can kind of live in here. I've got one spare pair of glasses. I do have my sunglass case, which is empty because this one is humongous. And you know my minimalist handbag? I've done a separate tour about that. I actually don't want to carry around this big chunky one. So I have a one that I've crocheted that's a little bit smaller. So I don't want to get rid of the case just yet though. And this here, I may have shown you before, but this is all of my travel adapters. We travel quite a lot internationally, and when you need to charge your electronics and stuff like that, we're actually doing a big trip later this year to Europe. So I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to keep it in here with like kind of tech miscellaneous things so I know where to find it. This squishy pig I got from one of my colleagues at work. It's the cutest little thing, but I'm not much for trinkets and stuff, but I can't really work out where to put it, and I can't really get rid of it because I like the person who gave this to me. So he can go in the miscellaneous one for a bit. Another random thing I have in here, I'm pretty good with miscellaneous stuff, but I ran the Melbourne Marathon back in 2013, and I am pretty stoked with my medal. I finished in 3 hours and 55 minutes, and I've had some foot injuries since, so I'm probably never going to run that far again. I did a lot of marathons, a lot of half marathons and one full marathon. So it's a sentimental thing. It's the kind of thing I can't just take a photo of. If you've ever run a marathon or that far, you know what a bloody big effort it is, and you train for months. So I'm going to keep that in here. I just can't get rid of it. Couple of pens, always good to have, and this is for my whiteboard. I've got a couple of my whiteboard eraser and a couple of whiteboard markers in here. So I'm going to keep all the pen type things together. This, by the way, is from, I think it's from Kiki K. I just love the accent colors. It's just really nice golden and kind of green. A couple of things going. I have a bunch of receipts that I already have scanned, and I don't need to keep these particular ones in paper form. So I'm just going to double check the dates on them. I'm fairly sure all of these are already scanned. And then this is a box of business cards. I don't really need this many. This is like half full. So I think what I'm going to do is keep maybe a handful, just, you know, actually I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these and put them in my little sentimental thing, and maybe, who knows, next time we declutter, maybe they'll all go. But I'm going to keep 5 of those, and the rest I'm just going to declutter because don't really need them. Okay, so let's look at what we ended up with and how much I'm actually getting rid of. Okay, here we go. This is the stuff that I am keeping. So miscellaneous stuff. In here I've got like tech cables, a spare mouse, a spare camera battery. I also do have my camera bag and the microphone I'm using at this very minute. That also go in here. My notebook, my ring light, and yeah, so this is all what I'm keeping and putting back in that shelf there. Up here we have those items that I talked about scanning. These things live in a different part of the house. That paper needs to be filed with important paperwork. And this one I am going to keep here because it's part of that little project I was talking about. So being kept, but something else is being done with those. And here is the stuff I'm getting rid of, like things that I've been holding on to, these cables. I'm going to check with my husband before I throw them out, but we have doubles and triples of most of these. Some manuals. So this is a combination of like throw out, donate, and recycle. This is a camera light, but that is it for day one. I'm pretty impressed. I am pretty happy with how this turned out. I'm always amazed of how much stuff you can get rid of, even when you're a minimalist who clean out fairly often. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss day 2 of the challenge, and let me know in the comments if you are following along and decluttering as well. See you soon.